It's time to pick a side. The border war is on the air with BG and 10. All right, a busy hour number 2 of the border war for March 21st on deck for you right now. You like my little baseball joke there?
On deck.
Yeah, because we're going to start off talking about college baseball.
It's a hilarious joke. The crowd loves it. It landed.
The crowd
it's awesome.
Wild. We're going to move from college baseball right into the National Basketball Association, talk about possible playoff scenarios. We'll do our picks list then, which is just a big, awesome hit every week. And then we're going to go back into the NCAA tournament, make our Final Four predictions, and pretend that the tournament's just now starting and that we haven't had our previous bracket.
Say that your bracket is not covered in red like mine is.
Okay, so
we'll start off in the college. But I'll get it started. We'll start off in the college baseball. We hit it in the weekend sport. The Tigers, they dropped 4 in a row. Gamecocks lose 2 of 3 to Florida. Tar Heels had a nice weekend, but an up and down season so far. We'll start off with the Tigers, BG. A sweep at the hands of NC State, a grand slam, walk-off grand slam loss to Coastal Carolina. Before that, they were 16-1.
No, they were on.
They were 16-1. Are these guys, are the Tigers, contenders or pretenders in your eyes?
I think they're still contenders, but I do think that this is a test for this team. Now, as I pointed out a couple of weeks ago when we did our college baseball preview, Clemson is a team that is loaded with upper-class leadership.
Yeah.
Okay? So, Seth Beer and those guys need to step up. And, well, Beer's not a senior, but believe me, he's a leader. They need to step up and calm this situation down.
Well, you look at this weekend.
Yeah.
Shutout. 1 run on Saturday.
Yes.
And then they lose 5-4 on Sunday. Where are the bats?
Well,
where are the bats?
This is part of baseball.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, Ray Tanner's motto during the best years of South Carolina baseball was win anyway. Because there's always a reason not to in baseball. Somebody's always not hitting. Somebody's always got a strained pitching shoulder. Somebody always gives up an unearned run. Win anyway. And so that's what both of these teams are going to have to figure out how to do. But that being said, and we'll get into South Carolina in a minute, these two teams are in different places right now. Clemson is a team that should not be swept by anybody.
No.
And losing a midweek game, people make too big of a deal out of it. Now,
those things happen
when
more
they
often
start
than you
piling
think they
up
are.
The way they are in Columbia right now, that's a different issue. But, I say it all the time, but both years that South Carolina won a national title in baseball, they lost to Furman. Both times on a Wednesday night game. Those games didn't mean anything.
I blame Clemson struggles all on Seth Beer. When Seth Beer doesn't hit,
I see what you're doing
when
now.
Seth Beer doesn't hit, they can't score a run. It's all Seth Beer's fault.
Well, to a degree it is. He is what drives their offense. But like I said, what's going to matter, and it's a cop-out answer, but we're going to have to see how Clemson reacts to this.
Yeah, right.
They need, I would say Louisville is a team they should beat 2-3. They could drop one at Louisville and still be okay.
Well, you look at after Louisville, you get the midweek game against Furman, Boston College. You get a rematch with Coastal. So so the schedule appears to me like
there's
it should
plenty
open
of
up.
wins
There's a
in
lot
there.
of wins left in there.
There's plenty of wins in there. But like I said,
like you said, you can't get swept though.
Clemson's goal this year needs to be to make it to Omaha. And I'm not trying to be funny, but the basketball team is in Omaha, okay? But the baseball team, for years and years, they've had Omaha on the back of the hats. Man, I can't remember the last time they went. Clemson needs to go to Omaha.
Last time they went was that year they probably played you guys. Was it your first title run, 2010? Y'all played them out there.
Did we play them out there? Yeah, I knew we beat them 2 out of 3, but I was thinking that was in the Super Regional. I guess you're right.
No, y'all played them out there in Omaha, like the game to go to the championship series, I think.
You're right. So, either way, that needs to be the very least they do this year, and I still think they're in a position to do that. But, I mean, obviously, if you're Clemson, you want to host a super regional. Mm-hmm. You want to be one of the top 12 teams in the country. You need that because it's very difficult to make it there otherwise. So, no, this was not a good weekend, and certainly I'd be more concerned with the way they lost that Wednesday night game. Mm-hmm. That Tuesday night game, losing on a grand slam. That baseball players have a tendency to let stuff like that hang around in their minds. But we'll see. That you win. It's like I said with you guys a couple of weeks ago. All you got to do is start winning. You rattled off 5 straight wins. You're back in the driver's seat. Conversely, this weekend with South Carolina, if we get one more base hit in that game on Sunday, we're having a completely different conversation right now. That's how baseball is. Obviously, we lose a pretty one-sided game on Friday night. Adam Hill got blown up pretty quickly, and he will not be playing this weekend against Georgia. I just saw it tweeted out about 4 hours ago. Shoulder tendonitis. I think it's got something to do with the fact that we're playing Georgia. I think if we were playing LSU or someone like that, he probably would go. I don't know that. Georgia's a team you should handle.
I'll say we just talked about them off the air. After Georgia, your series the next weekend is Tennessee. In between the two of them is Davidson at home.
If we're not feeling a lot better about South Carolina baseball going into the game with you guys in a couple of weeks, then there's going to be something to worry about. Now, let me say this.
I don't think that you have a whole lot to worry about on our end. This might finally be the year that you guys don't get beat 15-0.
But let's keep in mind now. I'm not going to take your bait.
I didn't get anything for that.
Well, what can I say, man? You've trounced us 2 years in a row. Trounced us. Okay, I keep seeing a lot of people on message boards, South Carolina baseball apologists, if you will, glass half full, garnet glasses wearing folks, say, look, you can't expect these guys to win big this year with Holbrook's players. And my thing was hold on.
Haven't you said that the recruiting hasn't been a problem?
Yes, that was exactly what I was about to say. Holbrook's coaching was always the problem. They had talent. But what I do think, TanMan, is this team has not reclaimed its mojo yet. And that, I think, is... Now, it is a young team. Let's be honest about that. We're starting a true freshman Friday night.
Yeah.
We've started true freshmen on the mound probably half of our games this season already. This team has some growing up to do. And they are probably losing midweek games because they're not bringing the level of intensity you would expect a South Carolina baseball team to play or to bring. But, this is a coach, whatever you think about him so far. Mark Kingston said after the game last night, I believe his quote was, "I'm sick of losing one-run games in my own ballpark." I mean, and that is not a comment Holbrook would have ever made. I don't know if it matters or not.
Trying real hard, guys.
This team knows full on that he's not pleased with their effort level right now.
I think
that being said, though, they were right in that series in Florida. You had the tying run on second base. You drilled a game-tying type hit into left field. You just happened to hit it right at the guy. The game's over. You lose 3-2 after the game with the national champion Florida Gators. Their coach says, look, South Carolina's a top 25 team, period. They're that good. And then you turn around after that and you lose to the Citadel. So, I think that's what you're going to see from them this year. I think this is
Well, you just mentioned that there's a lot of winning with Holbrook's players. I think that's one of the most overblown things in sports. If you've got a good coach is going to adapt whatever system he runs. He's going to adapt it to the players that he has. He knows going in the roster he has. He knows what he has in the cupboard, so to speak. And I think that's a crutch. This is just my opinion.
No, I think there are times when it's probably true. Because,
if you're
you and I gave Will Muschamp a lot of credit for going 6-6 with what he inherited from Steve Spurrier because that team didn't have any talent. I mean, that's true.
But
that's not the case here.
I say, if you're just dirt terrible, then that's one thing. But, I mean, if you're the Cleveland Browns, and I hate to keep harping on the Browns, but they're just so easy. The next guy coming in to take over the Browns, he's going to have the same problems as the first guy did, or the guy before him. But in Kingston's situation, he has players, man. People need to start holding some of these guys and hold them accountable.
And I think that's what he's trying to do.
I agree with you. I think so.
And I mean, look, the good news is
giving them an out.
You pick up a less than stellar baseball program in Georgia this week and Tennessee next week. I mean, I think you have to win 4 out of those 6 games.
Well, hey, look, you're 13-8 right now. Like we said, the next 7 games should all be winnable. That North Carolina game, obviously.
Well, I think you're trying to set yourself up to talk junk or not have to hit any if you lose. I know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, talk junk, man.
You plan this stuff weeks ahead of time.
We can barely beat anybody. We're
constantly trying to be the puppet master behind the scenes.
You're giving me too much credit, man.
Your evil strings. Look, North Carolina's not a bad baseball team. That's a long time from now. Long time from now. It's a lot of baseball. Two full series between then and now.
Man, I'm sitting here. Either we score 112 runs a night or we score 2.
Okay, so you have the same exact record in us, and you're all great and shiny about South Carolina baseball, but you're undercutting your own 13-8.
We got Florida State coming into town this weekend. That's probably 3 more losses. We get an up-and-coming Charlotte baseball team. If you listen to Jerry V.
They don't even want to be UNC Charlotte anymore. They're Charlotte.
Charlotte 49ers up there at the BB&T Park. And then Wake comes down. I mean, we're talking 7 losses in a row potentially. We're not going to be
out of your mind.
Any match for the machine that is Mark Kingston and the Gamecocks.
I would love to slap that hat off your head right now. You're arrogant. God,
we're no match. Well, give me some. You're the baseball guy. Make me feel good about my team. What are some reasonable expectations? We'll start with the Tar Heels.
I think North Carolina's goal,
because they clearly have some pop in the bats. It just doesn't always show up.
I think North Carolina and South Carolina have similar goals for the season, and that would be at the top of the heap of goals would be to host a regional. To be a 1 seed in that first round. If you do that, you've got a good chance of winning it and at least playing in a super regional. I think that would be a win for either one of these teams. That being said, North Carolina should be better than South Carolina right now. North Carolina is coming off 2 pretty good seasons.
Yeah.
They did lose a lot last year, so that's some of it. But and the ACC, frankly, right now is a little bit down. It's not where it has been. Well, primarily because North Carolina isn't where it has been. The SEC, on the other hand, is absolutely freaking loaded
I think Miami's got a losing record right now.
Yep.
Virginia's just kind of piddling around in the middle of the pack. Say, look, we've lost 5 one-run games.
Well, Virginia's basketball team just set their entire athletic program back 20 years. I don't know that they'll have anybody win anything for the rest of this season in any sport.
Yeah. Football season's around the corner in Charlotte.
That'll bail them right out.
What about the Tigers? What are some goals? What are some realistic expectations for the Tigers?
They need to expect to go to Omaha.
I think I'm higher on them than you are.
They need to expect to go to Omaha. Once you get to Omaha, even as a South Carolina fan, having won it twice, it's a crapshoot, man.
It is, man.
Once you're out there,
between the Collins World Series and the NCAA tournament, it's a toss-up to which is harder to win.
I'll put it this way: they are both arduous titles to get to.
Oh my gosh! I mean, they're almost impossible when you really sit there and think about it. But, I don't know. Let's move over to the NBA, BG. A lot of teams are trying to get to the end of the season, perhaps none more so than the Warriors.
The Atlanta Hawks are the team that's trying to get to the end of the season.
And the Hawks are trying to get.
They are such a bad team.
They're awful.
They actually might not make it to the end of the season. They may get to the point where they simply aren't allowed to finish the season.
Well, the Hawks are not in playoff contention in the East. Looking at the standings, the top 8 teams seem to be pretty set. In what order, we don't know. But for discussion's sake, we'll go.
We will do if the season ended
today.
That's
in the
all
West,
we can do.
In the West, you have the 1 and 2 seed Rockets and Warriors. I think that's probably going to stay just like that. And then 3 through 8, difference of 4 games. And you've got the Clippers and Nuggets on the outside.
Well, let's look at how this would look. So that would match up the Rockets and the Jazz.
Rockets and the Jazz.
That's not going to be a good series.
Warriors and Timberwolves.
That would be very fun series.
Could be interesting. The Warriors are dealing with some injuries right now.
I don't think the Timberwolves can take the Warriors in 7 games.
No.
But I tell you what, I think it would
fun.
be a competitive series. Michael Jordan's love child playing point guard out there. I mean, and you know what else? I've heard he loves ghost peppers. And if he puts that whole package together, and don't hit the boo button. And
now I wanted to make sure we weren't going to be up against it while you talked about ghost peppers and love children. Here's one: the Blazers, maybe the hottest. They just lost their last time out. I think before that they had won something like 13 in a row.
Have they not just sort of snuck up on the whole league?
Yes.
I mean,
well, they had a long winning streak. The Pelicans had a long winning streak a few weeks ago.
Just when you thought Damian Lillard was probably going to bail.
Yeah. But right now, the Blazers are set to match up with a Spurs team that a week and a half ago we're having a discussion. Could we see a playoffs without the Spurs? And now
we just saw right before the show started, it's official. Kawhi's not coming back this season.
Yeah, well,
that's the end of that.
Now the Spurs, like I said, a couple weeks ago we're talking about, are the Spurs actually going to miss? Now they seem to be safe by 3 games. Blazers and Spurs could be an interesting one, but here's one I've got my eye on, and maybe it's like the NCAA tournament with the 8-9 game, a 4-5 series with Oklahoma City and New Orleans. How much fun would that be?
That would be amazing, and a lot of star power.
I would love to see Anthony Davis in a series that he could actually have a chance of winning. When they made it a few years ago playing Golden State, they had no chance. They had no chance. And on the East side, the 8 teams seem to be pretty set.
I think you've got a lot of interesting matchups here.
Yes. The Raptors are going to be your 1. Your Celtics are going to be your 2. And then 3 through 8 are separated by 4 games. So this could be...
Let's just start, though, with, Toronto, Milwaukee. I'll watch that.
Milwaukee's that's a tough draw for Andy.
I will watch that. They're 37-33, but they have to be the toughest 37-33. They've lost a lot of close games if they're that close to 500 because I've never seen them not in a game. They play hard. You get Toronto, Milwaukee in 7 games. Look, Toronto's having a great year. DeRozan, Lowry, they're both on fire. I read a really great article. Got the same
record as Golden State. Now chew on that one. They get no love. No. They've got the same record as Golden State right now.
Everybody's still talking about Cleveland. I read a great article about how they put together that team, how they sat down and actually made beating Golden State the target of their roster. I love that.
The Raptors did?
Yes. I love that their goal was to beat Golden State.
It wasn't even to beat Cleveland.
Not to worry about the East.
Wow.
I love that.
Wow.
I love that.
The 2-7 matchup, Celtics and the Heat. Here's one. 3-6. The Cavs and the 76ers. LeBron James and the Cavs against Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the Sixers.
I'll tell you what, man.
That's a sneaky place for LeBron to end up next year. Just kind of off topic. Philadelphia's a sneaky place for him to end up.
Couldn't you see that just in a blink, like Philadelphia's up 2-0, and you're like, okay, whoa. Because Embiid's got that kind of game, man. He can go off. He can just go off on you. But I think Cleveland takes that series in 7 games.
Oh, that would be a fun one. I would go Cavs in 5, man.
You're probably right.
I think they beat the Sixers in 5. I think LeBron is getting ready to turn into, what does he call it, zero dark 30, whatever it is, where he just blacks out all of his social media and goes into playoff mode. I think he's had like 94 trips.
Lives off pure oxygen piped in from the Andes.
Eating roots and drinking rainwater. He's had like 94 triple-doubles in the last 3 weeks. But the 4-5 matchup, Pacers overachieving?
I think
maybe a little.
I think the Pacers take that.
Wizards John Wall should be back, hopefully, resuming some basketball activities this week, but he's only played 37 games.
Listen, man, I'm going to go ahead and predict this now. I think unless your Pacers end up matched up with somebody I don't see them being matched up with right now, I think y'all win a playoff series this year. I think you take that step forward.
I think Washington could be a tough draw. Like I said, they haven't been. Well, John Wall's only played 37 games, so they haven't really been themselves. But for a third of the year, 5 seed, 5 seems a little low. Get Wall back, start playing a little well. I can see the Wizards. I don't know. I like to say the Pacers would win that one, but Indiana and Washington, I think again that 4-5 matchup. I don't know that either one of them is going to beat Toronto the way the Raptors are playing right now. Though.
Yeah,
I mean those guys.
And like you said, I mean, there's still a part of me that thinks, they'll fall back down to earth.
Right.
They've got the same record as the Warriors.
29-6 at home, man.
Yeah,
they're 29-6 at home,
and I mean
and they're going to have home court advantage.
I've said it on the show I think before that I think Toronto is the most underrated home field or home court advantage in the NBA.
That hard, man.
You don't think about that place being crazy, but think about it, man. It's cold as hell up there. People are going to go inside and make some noise.
Yeah, I still think Cleveland's trying to ditch out of that 3 seed. I don't think that they won't play Boston in the second round.
They don't.
I think they're trying to get Toronto. But that's just my guess, my educated guess. No one really cares what I think, apparently.
I care what you think, man, because it gives me something to disagree with.
Sometimes I think you do. Sometimes I think you don't. Sometimes I think you just are being mean and rude.
I'm sorry, I wasn't. What'd you say?
Exactly. Let's move on to the picks list, BG. Last week, you went 4-6. I went 4-6. The tie remains the same.
But tell the folks what you tweeted or you texted me this week. We came close on a few.
We did.
And we went down on all of them.
We lost. We were on the wrong end of 2 double overtime games,
which is really the same as winning.
Who was it? It was the Wizards and Celtics. I think went double OT. The Wizards won. I think the Nuggets. The Nuggets and the Heat went double overtime. I think the Heat won.
I should have known better than to pick the Nuggets.
So let's start off tonight.
Never again will I pick the Nuggets.
Well, let's see. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't.
I don't know. I mean, like, once again, I'm making these picks blind.
Raptors at Cavs tonight, BG. A probable playoff preview at some point. Raptors at the Cavs tonight on ESPN. National TV.
I'm trying to decide how much credence I give this theory of yours. I'm going to go with the Cavs.
Going with the Cavs. I agree with you. I'm going to go with the Cavs. They're at home. I think LeBron, like I said, he's turning into playoff LeBron. Amazing, unstoppable until he hits the NBA Finals, and then we'll find a way to let you all down. Next on the list, the Clippers, fighting for that playoff spot, trying to get in to be fodder for the Houston Rockets in the first round. They're going to Milwaukee. Going to take on the Bucks. The Bucks probably safely in the playoffs will be my guess with a week and a half to go. I'm going to go with the Bucks here at home.
Yeah, the Bucks are. I mean, they're 5 games in front of the Pistons. I don't see that. I don't see
the Pistons walking them down.
Just something about the Clippers flying across the country without Blake. That just doesn't sit well with me. I'm going to go with the home team there too.
All right. Next one. Wizards at the Spurs tonight. Wizards
in the emergency room game. I mean, like, how many actual players are playing in this game? Is everybody hurt?
6. Who you got?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Wizards. I'm just gonna take a gander on this one. San Antonio is not San Antonio right now. They really, I don't know. They have to be playing kind of flat. I would think they don't have a lot to look forward to going into the playoffs without their best player. I'm
going to go with the Spurs here. They've won 4 in a row. Like I said, they were on the verge of being on the outside looking in come playoff time. They've won 4 in a row. More importantly, they're 27-8 at home. Give me Popovich and the Spurs. Here's one. And I'm not sure how this one wound up on the list.
It looks like it's in your handwriting. So.
Hawks at the Kings.
What is wrong with you?
Hawks at the Kings tomorrow night.
Oh, my word.
Give me the Kings, man.
Definitely.
Let me show the Kings some love.
They're 2 games better than the Hawks right now. And
they've won 6 games.
It's in whatever they call where they play.
The Golden One Center or something like that.
This summer, we're going to hash this out. We're going to have, maybe we'll set up a bracket of worst color combo mascots in all of professional sports. And just to make it interesting, we might throw like the NHL in just because a lot of them are terrible.
Oh, they're all awful.
But what I'm saying is we could at least use them to be made fun of. But the Kings,
they can be the
16
seed.
They're like a 2 seed. No, man, they're strong.
No, I'm saying the hockey teams can be like the 16 seeds.
Yes,
we'll just go beat the brakes off of them.
But the Kings,
that purple and black is tough.
Awful. No, it's everything about it's terrible. Everything they wear is awful.
What?
Everything. Yes, you heard me.
You're wrong about jelly. You're wrong about this. I don't even know you. Heat at the Thunder Friday night. Give me the Thunder. Miami 17-20 on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Give me the Thunder.
There's no way in the world I'm taking the Heat. No, Thunder.
There you go. Celtics at the Blazers Friday night, BG.
Blazers.
They're
on a roll.
Like I said, they won 13.
They're sneaking up on the whole league right now.
They won 13 in a row. Before they lost to Houston last week, I'll take the Blazers as well. T-Wolves at the Sixers on Saturday night. The T-Wolves 27-9 at home, just 14-22 on the road. Give me Philadelphia.
I'm going to take 76ers too.
Next up, another one. Not sure how it got on here. 2 teams trying to get to the end with as many losses and as many ping pong balls as humanly possible. The Charlotte Hornets, who are unfortunately are just about unwatchable at this point, maybe shutting Batum down shortly. Checking out on us. They're at the Mavericks on Saturday night. BG, the Hornets get a win.
They do.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Hornets in that one. Dallas is even worse.
They're both pretty terrible. Lakers at the Pistons on Monday night. The Lakers, man, I didn't realize this until I got to looking, preparing for the show. Lakers are 31-39. They got a lot more wins than I thought they did. The Pistons.
Another way to say that is they have one more win than the Charlotte Hornets.
That's pathetic.
That makes it change. It changes the smell a little, doesn't it?
Just think about this for a second. A couple weeks ago, the Pistons, about a month ago, the Pistons make the deal for Blake Griffin. They're hovering around that 8th playoff spot. Maybe not. They've fallen back now, 3-7 in their last 10. They're out of it, and they're 1 game better than the Lakers, who have kind of been an afterthought as far as the standings all year. Give me the Lakers, man. They're playing much better ball than I thought they were.
I'll go with the Pistons just so we'll have a few different. I feel less enthusiastic about being alive for having picked that game.
Pistons, man. Finally, last game on the list. My Pacers going to Golden State on Tuesday. Steph Curry. He'll probably return this week, but KD, with a rib injury, he's out. They're probably talking beginning of April. Before he's back, Klay Thompson, a broken thumb in his shooting hand. The quote was, he'll be out weeks. He broke that a few weeks ago. Give me the Pacers. The Pacers going on the road out to Golden State.
Yep.
Give me the Pacers.
I'm going to take the Pacers, too. The Golden State uniform isn't going to beat you. It's who's in them.
Yeah. That settles us up for the NBA. So let's circle back around now. The last segment before we close up shop this week to the NCAA tournament. BG, we'll start in that South region, the one that kind of blew up on us. No one saw it coming.
Quit looking at my bracket, man. I'm tired of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just went through and you copied every pick I had. Oh, yeah.
How do you even say that with a straight face?
Well, like this.
Well, you say everything with a straight face.
Exactly.
Well, we clearly did some different things there. I didn't even know.
K-State and Kentucky. Where are you going?
I'm going to take Kentucky.
It's hard not to, right?
Well, I've been a little stronger on Kentucky into this postseason than you have. My 10-year-old, quite upset with you actually right now. I don't know if you know this.
I did not know that.
He filled out a bracket on our online thing, and he feels like that he saw a lot of this coming, and that you went behind both our backs and deleted his bracket because it would have been in first place.
Maybe I did.
He had Kentucky in the national title game. I do remember that. He has Kentucky losing to Villanova in the national title game. That was his pick.
Really?
Yep. I definitely remember that because I remember making fun of him.
Yeah.
And boy, do I wish that he doesn't remember me doing that because
the
tables have turned.
Well, as I say, I could top you. My 5-year-old had Florida. She's still got Florida State. She had Florida State beating Xavier. She had Buffalo over Arizona. She had Marshall over Wichita State.
Wow.
Yep. 5 years old. Colors, mascots. And she had Kentucky out in the Final Four.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe she should have a podcast.
Yeah, well, I've tried to get her on, and so far she's refused.
Don't make that offer to mine now, because you know what's going to happen.
Loyola, Chicago, and Nevada. Oh, man, I would love to take Loyola, Chicago on this one. It's a great story. They're a fun team to watch. But I'm going to defer to the experts here. Like I told you in hour one, they tried to tell us. They tried to talk Nevada up. I'm going to listen to them this time. Give me Kentucky and Nevada in the Elite Eight. What about you?
I'm pulling the trigger,
Jean?
Baby.
Oh, man.
I'm pulling the trigger.
The Fighting Sister Jeans.
Here's the thing. Did you know that before?
What?
Was that a mascot you knew going into this
The
tournament?
Ramblers, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now, here's my thing. What I wonder, though, is that, because this is a new tournament now. We got a new sheet of paper.
It starts all over.
We got 5 days of off in between. So I wonder if that's what wins it for Nevada. I mean, I wonder what would have happened if Loyola Chicago had been allowed to not even take a shower. Give me the next team. Just keep playing. Keep pumping. I bet they might have been national champions. But I'm worried about, they've got time to sit around now and think about, oh, crap, what did we do? We're going to play who? For what?
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, look, they're playing a 7 seed for a chance to get into the Elite Eight. You only have to beat a 7 seed. I think they'll be in this game. I think they'll be ready to go. I'm going to pull the trigger on it.
No, I mean, I definitely think they'll be in the game. Off topic, did you hear the Nevada celebration where Musselman comes in? They had the hot mic in, live TV.
Oh, yeah. It was great stuff, man.
No, like I said, the experts tried to tell us, when you win this thing, there's always one game where you play terrible and you win a game somehow, some way that you had no business winning, coming back from 22 down against Cincinnati. I think that qualifies.
Oh, definitely.
That qualifies.
Yeah.
I've got Kentucky and Nevada in the Elite Eight. As much as I just talked that up, man, Kentucky, you are higher, like you said. You've been higher on them than I have. This just seems like it's just opened up, man. I mean, the heavens have shone down on Calipari and the Cats. We've literally never seen a region do this.
Kentucky's
it's hard to see
going
not
to the
Kentucky.
Final Four.
Yeah, it's hard not to see Kentucky in the Final Four.
Kentucky's going to the Final Four.
Going to the East, like I said, 2 of my Final Four picks squaring off. Villanova, West Virginia. Villanova shooting the ball from 3 better than almost every team. I think they made like the second most threes in the first 2 rounds or something like that. Shooting the ball at a historical pace in the first 2 rounds. Said it before the year. I'm going to stick with it. Give me Villanova to advance over West Virginia in a tight one. This might be one of the best games of the weekend.
Villanova was my original pick to win the national title. I'm not changing that now.
Texas Tech and Purdue. Texas Tech finally healthy. And when they're healthy, that's what we've been told all year, how dangerous they are. Keenan Evans. Purdue missing their big man. He broke his elbow. Tried to get him a brace. Not going to work out.
Not an athletic-looking fellow.
No, but he
looks like he weighs 310 pounds.
He's tough, man.
No question.
Give me Texas Tech.
He absolutely mugs people inside.
Yes, Purdue pulled one out against Butler, a team they're familiar with. But give me Texas Tech in this one. Give me Villanova and Texas Tech in the Elite Eight.
I'm taking Purdue, mostly just because that bracket seems to have gone chalk. I'm going to kind of leave it as the most boring of the 4 by far. So I've got Nova and Purdue going at it.
I'm going to take Villanova out, of course. I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, I'm taking Villanova all the way.
So we got Kentucky, Villanova down in the Midwest. Like I called it, ACC tournament round 2 out in Omaha, Kansas. The lone non-ACC member, they will take on the Clemson Tigers. Hard not to pick Kansas, right? I mean, this one seems easy, doesn't it? It feels easy.
See, that's
Should
where
that
I
scare
would.
you?
That's where I would go different from you. It seems easy.
Should that
it
scare
does
you?
not feel easy. Clemson always scares me, man. They just seem to have it going in every sport right now, and it's awful. I think it's a sign of the end times. I don't know what all this means for everybody. I would invest in gold if they win this game. But no, I'm going with the Jayhawks. But I'll tell you what I think this game's going to look like. I think it's going to be super, 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 super competitive, like 1 and 2 point game. And with about 5 to 4 minutes left, I think Kansas ends up winning by about 10 points. I think Clemson just sort of gives out.
Yeah.
I think the moment finally catches up to them, but I think they hang with them for the vast majority of this basketball game.
I mean, look, Clemson, I thought going way out west, all the way out to San Diego, would be a little bit of a problem. It wasn't. But you're talking about a cross-country trip there, a cross-country trip back. Now you got to go back out west, back out to that's still a lot of travel. I'm going to take Kansas, and I disagree. I don't think it's really going to be that close. I think they're going to get a working margin early. I think the Jayhawks, like I said, haven't played great the first 2 rounds. Penn gave them a run for the first half or so.
Yeah.
Seton Hall was still in the ball game very late. Just couldn't catch a break. I think Kansas wins it handily. Bottom half, kind of the same thing. Syracuse and Duke. Like I said in hour 1, I think Michigan State.
This is probably the most boring matchup on the bracket. Right now.
I think Michigan State had trouble with the zone because they're not familiar with it. Duke sees it every year. They just played a couple weeks ago. It wasn't close. I don't think this one is either. Give me Kansas and Duke to advance, and give me the Jayhawks to advance to the Final Four.
Ditto.
All right.
I've got Kansas making it to the Final Four over Duke also.
All right, and finally out west, where dreams go to die, Florida State up top, the 9 seed, taking on the defending runner-up Gonzaga, who seems to have opened up for them to make they fought all those years to make a Final Four, and now their bracket seems to have opened back up for them to make a return trip 1 year later.
Yep.
Give me Gonzaga. Florida State, I've seen them all year. They're nothing overly impressive. I don't think this is one of the handful of best teams that he's even really ever had down there.
I don't even know what happened in the Xavier game. Like I said, because I saw no footage of it. I saw no coverage of it. It barely got mentioned because I think everybody was just shell shocked after the whole tournament last weekend. By the time that Xavier lost to Florida State, I think most people were like, "Well, yeah, why not?"
Yeah,
like insane laughter.
Yeah,
but no, I think Florida State runs out of gas here. Zaga wins this.
Yeah, like I said, Leonard Hamilton is a great coach, and he might be one of the most underrated coaches in America. I hate North Carolina going down there to play every year. This isn't even one of his best teams he's ever had. I don't really even know how they're here, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Bottom half, Michigan was one of the teams that a lot of people jumped on. They win the Big Ten tournament. They take the week off, of course, for the moving the tournament back, but they're in the Sweet 16 against Texas A&M. BG, the Aggies. Maybe it's revisionist history. I don't know. The Aggies have made a believer out of me, man. This was the team that we should have seen all year long. I think they beat Michigan as a 7th seed. They go on out to the Elite 8 to take on Gonzaga.
I don't think, not to hurt you too bad here, man, but I don't think you dominate North Carolina and then turn around and lose to Michigan. I just don't think you do. I think A&M's not a team I would want to play right now.
When they want to get right, as we saw Sunday, when they want to be right, they are hard to handle.
And you picked them one tournament too early. We thought we might see them show up and win the SEC tournament.
One and done in that thing.
As it turns out, it probably helped them.
Yep. So I've got the Elite 8, Gonzaga and Texas A&M. BG, you've got Gonzaga and
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Who you got?
I'm taking Zaga in that one.
One of the Zags. I'm going A&M, man. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Why not?
Give me Texas A&M. So I've got Kentucky, Villanova, Kansas, and Texas A&M, and you've got.
I think that the Gonzaga-Texas A&M game will be one of the best games in the tournament so far, though. I think that one's going to be a barn burner. So my Elite 8 is UK, Loyola of Chicago. Who saw that coming? Gonzaga, Texas A&M, Duke, Kansas, Purdue, and Villanova.
All right. So that's it. We'll see.
Well, do we want to just go ahead and finalize what our Final Fours are? We want to take it further than that or not?
Well, we can.
I've got it.
All right, if you guys sit down, you go ahead and start us off.
All right, so I've got Kentucky making it into the Final Four, Gonzaga, Kansas, and Villanova. Mm-hmm. And look, I've already said it. I've got Gonzaga and Villanova playing for the national title, and I think Villanova wins it.
I would say I'll take
second time in 3 years.
I'll take Villanova over Kentucky. I'll take Villanova over Kentucky. I think they get the matchup.
So you did steal my son's picks. You eliminated his bracket, and now you're just reading.
It's all part of my master plan.
Fortunately for you, he only listens to the parts of the show where I talk.
Well,
it's very difficult though. You have to hit mute a lot. It's really complicated.
Give me. I don't really. I watch this Kentucky team. I'm not overly impressed with them. You look at individual parts. But
that's the tournament we've been left with.
But you
now.
put them together, and it just, I don't know. Maybe they just seem
score
to be
more points.
Yeah, they just. What's the phrase on it? Some greater than their parts, or something like that. You're the word expert. I don't know about words.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That's it for this week. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Border War. If you want to tweet this chucklehead, he is at BG_Border War. If you want interesting and interesting conversation.
Bitter conversation.
You want some expert opinions, you could tweet me at TanMan3264.
Uncalled for sarcasm. That's what you'll get.
Well, that's part of your life. You can email us, CarolinaBorderWar@gmail.com. You can like us and download us through the Spreaker app. And we can be found, on YouTube, SoundCloud. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook. BG, is there anything else?
I'm just noticing that on the set of Pardon the Interruption, there's a giant Darth Vader toy there.
I see a Statue of Liberty.
Well, this is the wrong angle, but I just wanted to point out that there are others. There he is. See right there in the back. There are other sports guys right over here.
Oh, okay.
There are other sports guys.
Way back there in the back.
He's the biggest figure on there.
Way back there in the back.
Sports guys
no one
who have
see.
other interests other than sports. See, you're actually the one who's alone here.
No.
All alone.
Whatever.
That's all you've got, man.
That's all you have.
I love Star Wars. I love spicy peppers.
That's all you have.
I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You don't know. Those things are stupid.
I do not like making yearbooks, though.
Those things are stupid.
Tired of yearbooks.
Stupid.